Hi, I'm Yannick Hanfman.
I'm Ilya Marchenko.
I'm Dennis Kudla.
This is Sebastian Wolfner.
It's Marc-Andrea Whistler.
I am Francisco Cerundolo.
And you're listening to the GTL Podcast. Hopefully you enjoy it.
Hopefully.
Hey, welcome back, tennis fans. Here we are for the US Open Women's Draw Preview. And as you can see, it is just me on the screen for now because we're going to have to do this one slightly differently to normal. We are going to have to do up to the quarterfinals, and because of JG's eye surgery, he will come in just after the quarterfinals and we'll speak about his picks, but unfortunately, he will be wearing dark glasses just to protect his eyes. But I'm excited. We obviously had the reigning champion, Iga Swiatek. She's the number one seed going into this year's tournament. And we've also got Sabalenka, the number two. They always seem to be the number 1 and 2, these girls. But we've got some big challengers now this year. We've got the likes of Rybakina. We've got the likes of Coco Gauff. Mukova's into form. We've also got Vondrousova. She has a slam under her belt now. Lots of things could happen. Lots of twists in the tail. But we're going to go through all of it right here. And we're going to go through the past champions first, as we always do. And here are the past champions. And this tournament, I'm sure everyone will agree, slightly more pot luck when it comes to the winners, but there is sort of a running theme with big hitting players doing quite well here. Iga obviously winning it last year. Raducanu, when she won it, she was hitting big and she sort of wiped everyone off the court in straight sets. Osaka, we know how hard she hits. She's won it twice, not back to back, but a year separating, and that was Bianca Andreescu, and she was incredible then. She's sort of trying to come back at the moment from multiple injuries, really, hoping she can have a good run in this year's tournament. Sloane Stephens back there 2017, Kerber, Panetta, and then the last person to do it back-to-back was obviously Serena Williams, and she did it back-to-back-to-back. That was 2012, 2013, and 2014. But that's enough of the previous champions. Will any of these players get it again this year? We're going to find out. We're going to go through the draw. If you haven't done so yet, make sure to hit a like on the video, subscribe to the channel as well, and join us for our final countdown episode. That one will be coming up the evening before we kick off. So that one should be exciting, and we'll be going through all of the favourites of the tournament. We're going through the last minute news that's going on and potentially any people pulling out of the tournament. We'll also get to look at the final qualifiers as well. But let's go straight into the draw, and let's not waste any time on this first round because there's certain players I don't think are going to be too much troubled here. We've obviously got Iga playing Peterson. I think Iga will beat her easily. Saville against, I'm going to have to try and get the name right, Ngune. I believe she's a wild card. I think Saville should be too strong for her. Lauren Davis against Kovinic. I quite like Kovinic. She's a gritty player. I'll go with her. Qualifier, don't know who it is yet against Coccioletta, but Coccioletta up to a career high, so I'll go with her for now. Ostapenko I'll have beating Paolini. I'm also going to have Avanesian beating Cornet in this round. And if we move down here, we got Wang and Grabner. I'll go with Wang. Kudermetova Pera, and this is my first seed tumbling out. I think Kudermetova is going to get knocked out by Bernarda Pera here. Let me know if you've got the same thing in your bracket. Kvitova to take out Buxer. I'll have Wozniacki going through against a qualifier. I think that she's good enough for that. Brady coming back to a bit of form now. Great to see. Sasnovich versus Linette. I mean, this one, I think it could be 3 sets, to be honest. And I'm going to go Sasnovich, actually. Another seed tumbles out. Elise Mertens versus the qualifier. I'll go Mertens. Fravitova versus Collins. I'm going to go Danielle Collins here. Mila Andreeva versus the qualifier. Well, I'm going to go Mila Andreeva because she's one of my surprise packages. Can she do another good run in a slam? We will find out. And will she be playing in the second round? Coco Gauff, I believe she will be, because Coco Gauff, I think a qualifier is going to have to be playing out of their skin to get past Coco right now. Kostyuk versus Rybakina. Rybakina may not be the fully fit Rybakina that we know, but she did pull out. Might have just been precautionary. She might be fully fit now. I'm hoping she is. I think she beats Kostyuk. And I think Tomljanovic meets her in the next round. She'll knock out Udvardy. Siniakova, Kalinskaya. I'm going to go Siniakova. Kayla Day versus Sorana Cîrstea. We're in America, but I still feel Cîrstea probably a bit too strong for her. Ferro got a wild card in here, but I think Azarenka cleans her up. She was a finalist a few years back. This one is Margarita Betova. I believe Betova is Gasparian. This is what we're told in one of the comment sections, but I was not aware of that. But I will have her going out anyway. I'm gonna have the qualifier knocking her out. I'm gonna have Bencic knocking out Rakimova, Mukova knocking out Storm Hunter. Emma Navarro, the young American, I quite like her. I think that she will knock out Freck here. And Taylor Townsend, I think she'll knock out Gracheva as well. The Americans going through. This is the real big matchup. Sloane Stephens versus Haddad Maia. I've got a feeling that JG is going to be putting Sloane Stephens through, being in his surprise packages, being a past champion. I'm having Haddad Maia. I'm going against JG. I reckon that's what he's gone with. Kalinina versus Sorribes Tormo. May surprise some of you. I'm actually going Tormo to knock out Kalinina. Sorribes Tormo making it to a final in Cleveland, I believe. And she's up against Alexandrova, so we'll see how she gets on in that final. But despite that, to get past some really good competition in that tournament it speaks volumes. And Sorribes Tormo coming into form at the right time. I'll have Wang beating the qualifier. Schmeidlova knocking out Beindel. Sarkali knocking out Masalova. Garcia knocking out a qualifier. Parry knocking out Balta. Sorry, Katie. Peyton Stearns to knock out Tomova. And this one's slightly tougher. Potapova versus Towson. I think I'm going to have another seed tumbling out here as well. Towson, she's got quite a lot of power on her. I think if she turns it on, she'll beat Potapova. This one, a really tough matchup to pick. Alexandrova, as I just said, she's in a final just now against Sorribes Tormo. So she's playing well. Leila Annie Fernandez, she does quite well at the US Open, though. I'm going to go with Fernandez because Alexandrova may be tired. So another seed going out for me here. And I will have Bianca Andreescu setting up the all-Canadian second round against Leila Annie Fernandez. That's a winner of the US Open versus a runner-up. Trevisan Putintseva. I'm going to go Putintseva. Vondrousova to knock out a qualifier. Samsonova to knock out Claire Liu. Begu to knock out Korpatch. These two are just qualifiers, so just pick one. Madison Keys to knock out Rus. Svitolina to knock out Friedsam. I reckon the qualifier is going to knock out Pavlyuchenkova. Some people might be mad at me with that, but that's just how I see it. Marino to knock out the Tig. Camila Giorgi, Jess Pegula. I mean, a real tough first round match, but I feel that Pegula just has far too much pedigree at the moment. She won Montreal. I think that she'll be in hot form in this tournament. We've got Onsjaber knocking out Osorio Solano. I'm going to have Brengel knocking out Noskova. Tatiana Maria to knock out Martic. Bauskova to knock out Kruger. Qinwen Zheng to knock out Podoroska. I'll have Kanepi to knock out Strysova. I'll have the qualifier to knock out Robin Montgomery. Krachikova, I've not really seen much of her, but I think she's got probably too much for Bronzetti. Parks is actually one of my surprise packages, but I think Kasatkina's looked quite good recently. It's not the best draw for one of my surprise packages. I think Kasatkina will win that one. I'll have Sophia Kenin knocking out Bogdan. Badoza knocking out Williams. That's Venus, not Serena. I'm going to have Vekic knocking out the qualifier. Pliskova knocking out... No, actually, I'm the qualifier knocking out Pliskova. I'm going back on that. Another seed tumbles. I'm going to have Burrell knocking out Dollarhide. Burridge to knock out Blinkova. And then Sabalenka to knock out Zanevska. Right, moving back to the top. We're going to be flying through these. We don't have to listen to JG's opinions until the quarterfinals, remember? And then we will be getting his. Right, so I'm going to have Iga to knock out Daria Saville in the second round. I'm actually going to have Coccialetto to knock out Kovinic. I think that this new career high is going to push her on a little bit. So I'm going to jump on the back of the Italian. I'll have Ostapenko knocking out Avanesian. Pera knocking out Wang. I'll have Kvitova knocking out Wozniacki. That's an interesting matchup. Brady to take out Sasnovich. Daniel Collins to take out Mertens. I think Coco Gauff will knock out Mila Andreeva. I think they played not too long ago and Coco actually bageled her. Rybakina to knock out Tomjanovic. Won't be easy though. And Sestaya to knock out Siniakova. Oh, we've got one missed here. Sharif to knock out Zhu in the first round I'm going for. So I'll have Azarenka to knock out Sharif. Bencic to knock out the qualifier. Emma Navarro, my surprise package. I feel that Mukova, she's too good at the moment. I have Mukova going through here. Haddad Meyer to meet her, knocking out Taylor Townsend. Cerebres Tormo going on a little tear here into the third round, knocking out Wang. We'll have Sakari to meet her. I'll have Garcia taking out Parry. I'll have Stearns, actually, to knock out Clara Towson. Stearns to have a little run in America. Bianca Andreescu to take out Leila Annie Fernandez. Vondrousova, the Wimbledon champion, to go through to meet Andreescu in the third round. That will be exciting. Samsonova, she's not got a bad draw, Samsonova. She's not been in the best of form, but I feel that she can come good. Madison Keys to meet her. Svitolina to go through against the qualifier. And then Pegula to knock out Marino to meet Svitolina in the next round. We'll have Jabeur knocking out Brengel. I'm going to have Tatiana Maria knocking out Bauskova. Qinwen Zheng to knock out Kai Kanepi. And Barbora Krejcikova to knock out a qualifier. I mean, Kasatkina versus Sofia Kenin. I think Kasatkina's going to... I don't know if Kenin's carrying an injury at the moment. I believe she is. I think Kasatkina's probably a little bit too good. Badoza Vekic. Really, really good matchup if Badoza's fit. But we know she did pull out recently of some events. I don't think she's going to be fit enough to take on this Donna Vekic. We've got a qualifier versus Burrell here. I'll have Burrell going through. And then Burridge. You're going out to Saba. So, moving back to the top. So, we go to the third round now. Here we go. Let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments section with any of these picks. So far, I've knocked out a few seeds. I'm going to go Iga to knock out Coccialetto. Ostapenko to knock out Pera, setting up that big fourth round matchup. Iga versus Ostapenko. I'm going to be having... I think I'm going to have Jem Brady knocking out Kvitova. And then I'm going to have Coco Gauff knocking out Collins. So the Americans will play each other there. And then I'm going to have Rybakina knocking out Sestaya. And Azarenka to go through against Bencic. Moving down, Mukova Haddad Meyer. That's a really good match. I think Mukova could definitely go deeper in this tournament than Haddad Meyer. She's shown a little bit more consistency in the past tournaments. Cerebres Tormo Sakari. I think Tormo may be a little bit spent by this time of the tournament after a long week just before the tournament commenced. Garcia versus Stearns. How big do I want to go on Stearns? That's the big question here. I might go for it, you know. I'm going to go that Peyton Stearns has a good tournament and actually gets past Garcia. Call me crazy. Got to take some punts in this one. Andreescu versus Vondrousova. I just think that now she's a slam champion, we're going to be seeing her going deeper in a lot more events. And she doesn't have that long-lasting elbow injury. Keys Samsonova. I'll be going for Madison Keys. Pegula versus Svitolina. I'm going to be going for Pegula. But I'm sure there's some people who probably disagree with me there. We've got Ons Jabeur, Tatiana Maria. And we're going Ons Jabeur. Qinwen Zheng versus Barbora Krejcikova. I'm going Qinwen Zheng to knock out Krejcikova. We've got Kasatkina versus Vekic. I'm going to be going Kasatkina to go through. And then Sabalenka at the bottom. So that sets up our 4th round matchups. And we've got some real tasty ones in this bracket all the way to the top. And this could be potentially the tastiest, I think. Iga versus Yelena. And Ostapenko famously 3-0 in matches against Iga. And that is the big statistic here. Iga has only ever won 1 set against Yelena Ostapenko, but she's never won a match. And if Ostapenko comes into this one like flying and crushing people, I think this is going to be a real tough day at the office for Iga. Iga has to play a real top game to beat someone like an Ostapenko. And I don't think she's going to. I think Iga goes out in the 4th round. That may shock some people, and I'm sure I'm going to get some hate in the comment section, but I'm going to go quite big on this women's draw preview. I think there's just a underlying feeling that something different's going to happen in this tournament. I don't know what it is, just got a feeling. So I've got Ostapenko to go through against Iga. I got Coco Gauff versus Jen Brady. And I'm going to be having Coco Gauff go through against Jen Brady. I feel that would be quite a nice matchup for her. We're moving down. Rybakina versus Azarenka. Rybakina, I feel that she's got enough, even if she's not at her best, to get past a lot of these players. And that's credit to her that she can maybe not even play her best and still beat some players these days. I feel the serve sometimes enough, and I think she'll get past Azarenka. Mukova Sakkari, it's just the same old story for Maria Sakkari. I think Mukova will beat her again, and that's the sad truth. And sorry, Sakkari, you're out in the 4th round. Move down. We've got Stearns versus Vondrousova. I think Vondrousova, not a bad draw for her. I think she'll go through here. So she'll make a quarterfinal. And then we've got Madison Keys versus Jess Pegula. Jess Pegula's got quite a hard draw, really, looking at it. Start off with Camila Giorgi's never an easy one. I'm going to go with her going through, though, against Madison Keys. Moving down to the bottom, we've got Ons Jabeur, Kim Win Zheng. And I'm going to go Kim Win Zheng to knock out Ons Jabeur here. Some people, I can hear some shouts saying, how dare you? But yeah, I'm going for it. Kim Win Zheng going through. And at the bottom, it's going to be Saba. So, that sets up my quarterfinals. So I think it's time to bring in JG. And here is JG into the draw preview. How are you, JG?
Woohoo! I'm feeling great. Look at me. No, joking aside, it's not been terrible. I've had a lot of discomfort in my eyes, though. They've been watering a lot. I've been in and out of sleep all day. But this is the GTL spirit. This is the GTL dedication. I'm here. It is US Open time. I've not had to do much on the women's at all. I've been listening to radios all day, just trying to follow what's been going on. And of course, I did my women's bracket just before I had the surgery, sort of 20 minutes before I completed the bracket. So I know who I've got winning it all. But you're going to have to remind me, Ben, of my quarterfinals on every round, and I'll give you the reasoning behind all of my decisions.
No worries, will do indeed. You sent me over your quarterfinals to final picks, so I've got all of them. You're all going to see the ones that I've gone for. So I've got my quarterfinal from the top, and just to gauge your reaction straight away, I have Ostapenko versus Coco Gauff as my first quarterfinal. And you'll notice there's a big name missing from my top quarterfinal.
Right. For those who can't see me, my eyes are currently closed. I'm struggling to keep them open for too long. But I'm shocked you've not put Iga there, obviously. So I'm just to fill me in, did you have Ostapenko knocking out Iga?
I did indeed.
Right. Yeah, so I think that's already pretty crazy. I think Hammond's got in your head with that. Has Ostapenko ever done anything good at the US Open?
Well, it's a
Not sure
good
what this hype
question
is.
you asked. I mean, I'm just gone with her head-to-head against Iga more than I've gone with her actual credibility at the US Open, because Iga's never beaten her in 3 matches. So if they meet each other, she's sort of like a Rybakina. Like Rybakina sort of has her number, and I feel that Ostapenko, another one of those players that Iga just doesn't like playing. I'll have a look at her stats for US Opens though, and you can see here that she's never been past the 3rd round at the US Open. So not really
I
great.
don't recall any good results there at all. So yeah, I mean she's definitely capable, but I thought Iga will beat her if we are to get that matchup. Can I announce my one?
Yeah, I
Should we
can
do
bring
it
it
match
up on
by
the
match?
screen.
So my one's going to be Iga Coco Gauff. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's right.
It is the obvious one. Maybe you're going to call me boring. They are the favourites to get to that round. They've recently played in Coco Gauff beat her. I did say on a recent countdown episode that I don't think that is necessarily a turning point for Coco Gauff. And I think she's still going to come a bit unstuck against an Iga. But I feel she can get to that round. And I think we may get a really good 3-set match. It's not going to be a boring Iga victory like a love and a 1 or something. We'll get a competitive one. But I hate to say it, Ben, I think Iga will have a little bit too much and beat her. Coco Gauff, for me, in a Grand Slam, I don't think she's going to have enough for Iga. She might be able to do it in a Masters, but not in a Grand Slam.
Well, this is where I think that we both had difference of opinion. I felt it was maybe turning the corner for Coco Gauff, the win against Iga, the winning of the Masters. And that's why I've gone, in my bracket, I've got Coco Gauff versus Ostapenko. And I feel, even though I think she could beat Iga, if she doesn't have to play her, she's even more likely than that Coco Gauff may be able to go through here in this first quarter-final. I have Coco Gauff going through and into a semi-final at the US Open. The next potential one, on my bracket, I've got Rybakina Mukova. On yours, you have, this is the thing. We've got Maria Sakkari versus Rybakina. So similar, but Sakkari here. And you have picked on your bracket Sakkari to knock out Rybakina here. Can you explain?
Yeah, Rybakina, I feel, has been too hot and cold, probably physically as well with her temperature. She's pulled out of too many events. She's not been that reliable. I find she's an awesome tennis player. Who's to say she doesn't even pull out earlier? It seems like it's happening a lot. Didn't she pull out of Wimbledon, or did she just go out in the end?
I believe that she did. Let me just have a look at the...
It's a bit of a blur now, but I just feel, regardless to that, I'm still sticking by it. I think Sakkari, all in all, maybe has had one of her best years. Correct me if I'm wrong. I feel she's been doing extremely well going deep in events. She's got a clear issue mentally with semi-finals and finals, but this is not a semi. This is a quarter-final. She doesn't do too bad in them.
True.
And I honestly believe that Sakkari, if she was to play Rybakina in the quarterfinal, I think she's going to win. And maybe people say that's boring, but I don't think it is. I feel like that is a little bit of a wild pick, having Sakkari go so deep. I like her on the hard courts, and I fancy her chances. She has the ability to get to the final, in my opinion. I just don't think she can get through a semi purely because of the whole mental semi-final Sakkari stuff, which is sad. And she's spoken about how it really does upset her.
Yeah.
But it's a fact. I mean, this what happens week in, week out with her.
But you've got her going further than Mukova, and that's the round before, and I've got Mukova knocking her out. And that's the key sort of factor for me. I feel that she's got a problem mentally with semis, but she's also got a problem mentally with Mukova as well. So it's not going to be an easy draw for Sakkari if she has to play Mukova again. I don't think she likes playing her. I feel Mukova sort of has her number. She just to touch on her back, and she lost to Ons Jabeur at Wimbledon. That was in the quarterfinals.
Right,
yeah. So I think remember it was the back-to-back for Jabeur with the Rybakina Saba, wasn't it? So yeah, in my one anyway, my bracket, I have Rybakina versus Mukova, and I've actually gone with the same thing. I've actually gone with Rybakina going out as well. So we're both going along the same lines. I feel that the injuries that she's been sort of carrying Rybakina at the moment, will she even get to the quarterfinals? Not sure.
That's the thing with me as well. If she is
Yeah.
there and she's fit, she's got the ability to win this event, no, hands down. And my expectation is, I think next year she's going to be the one to beat on all of them. I'm making an early call now because she has so much ability and so good on all surfaces that I think she'll go on to do really well in the slams next year. But this year's been a kind of a transitional period from where she was to that next step. And with a few illnesses and issues which have come up, she's been a bit unlucky.
Indeed. Right, moving down to quarterfinal number 3.
So the bottom half.
This one, I have something probably completely different to you. I have Vondrousova, the Wimbledon champion, against Montreal Masters champion Jess Pegula here. This is my quarterfinal, and in your other quarterfinal, your third one, you have Vondrousova as well, but you also have Madison Keys. And we know how much you love Madison Keys, so I don't even need to ask who you picked in this one. Madison Keys to go through. You can see it on the screen. It says picked, and it is her to beat Vondrousova there in the quarters and make the semis.
That's right. Madison Keys, I'm a big fan of. I think we're going to get potentially a story like Wimbledon, in which Vondrousova went all the way to win. However, in that final against Ons Jabeur should have won. She just mentally bottled it and seized up. I think we could get a player maybe in the final who we're not expecting, but I don't think they'll bottle it. No, the favourite won't bottle it this time. So we're going to get a name we're going to get a name go deep, which we're not expecting. And Madison Keys, basically, the reason I'm saying this story is because she's going to be my Vondrousova style player from Wimbledon, or the Raducanu of many years. I know that's even crazier than ones, but Madison Keys is class. She's American. She's got ability. I think she could surprise some people. And I think we're going to see an American go really deep who's not Coco Gauff.
Yeah, not had a bad year this year, Madison Keys. She was a former finalist back in 2017, semi-finalist 2018. Since then, not been past the fourth round, like third round last year, but she has ability.
But she's playing well this year, so I think it's a good call. I'd like to know her betting odds as well, because I might put a bet on.
Oh, go on. Get in there
Cheeky
while you
tenner.
can. That's it. Right. So I've just got rid of your quarterfinals draw now. That was silly of me. 1 second. I just pressed the delete button. Oops. Right. So for me, Vondrousova versus Pegula. I'm going to be going for Jess Pegula to knock out Marketa Vondrousova here. So I'll just get your ones back on the screen again so that we can see them. So moving down, so Jess Pegula for me, something has to give at some point with her in these slams. I feel she's so good and she's so consistent in Masters events. When's that going to finally translate into doing it in the slams? I'm just waiting for it to happen. I feel that it's just a matter of time before it all just clicks. She's only ever been to quarterfinals before. This is going to be her first semi-final, I think. So that's what I'm going with. I feel that the American crowd could play a factor. So I'm going to have her knocking out Vondrousova. And down to the bottom, the final one. And this one might surprise you as well. I have Qinwen Zheng and I have Sabalenka down at the bottom.
I thought you wasn't going to have Saba then for a second.
I do have Saba. And on your one, I believe you have, is it Ons Jabeur? But I'm going to check.
Yeah, and Saba.
Ons Jabeur, Saba. And there you go. You can see it on the screen. Sabalenka, your pick to make the semi-finals to play Madison Keys.
Yep, I'm going to have Sabalenka getting revenge on Ons Jabeur for Wimbledon and defeating her. I think playing her quarterfinals is better than the semi-finals.
Yeah, for sure. And plus,
do you know what I mean? With Sabalenka, you're better off. She's better off playing someone of that caliber in a quarterfinal than a semi-final because she's got more chances to beat her and keep her mental when she's closing out matches. So Saba's got a nice draw. I think it's not bad at all. And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people have her winning this event. I know we have the tennis percentages of the amount of people who have picked players. My prediction is that Sabalenka will be the most picked player to win.
I know that they normally go with the number one, but yeah, she probably will be.
No, I think Saba's going to be the most popular.
Okay. Saba won the last hard court slam, obviously in Australia. Can she get a second one in the same year? This one, slower courts, but she has the power to make them seem quick. Qinwen Zheng versus Sabalenka. I feel that this is probably going to be the end of the road for Qinwen Zheng. Unfortunately, I feel Saba just too strong. Don't think it's a bad draw for Sabalenka at all. I think that she'll cruise into the semi-final. Qinwen Zheng will do well to get to the quarterfinals, though. That'll be her deepest run at a slam.
Yeah, she'll be thrilled with that. But I think it's good to have her go far. But I don't know. Yeah, we are going to get some players like that who will do it, who we're not expecting. There's going to be a Chris Eubank story in here. It's just about finding it. Maybe Qinwen Zheng's the one.
That's right. We go to the semi-finals now. I've got Coco Gauff Mukova at the top, and that's a rematch of the final, wasn't it? Recently, they just played in where was it? Where was the final? Cincinnati. Was that the final they played in? Yeah. So she's just come off the back of winning Cincinnati against Mukova in the final, and it was impressive. The final was even easier than her match against Iga. So
compare that to the men's final, it was less than half the time.
Exactly.
For the same best of three match.
Well, Coco Gauff right now, you've got to think, she came off the back of winning Washington. She got knocked out by the eventual winner, Jess Pegula in Montreal. But before that, she'd bageled Vondrousova in the match before that. And Pegula, that was her toughest match, Coco Gauff. It was a real tight one, 7-5 in the third. And then after that, she went on and won Cincinnati. So she's won 2 hardcourt events in the US and only lost 1 match, really, in 3 tournaments. So she's looking very, very good since her early exit to Sophia Kenin at Wimbledon, who somehow just came back to form all of a sudden. I don't know how that happened, Sophia Kenin, just for that match, but it was just unfortunate for Gauff that happened to be her draw.
It was a bit weird.
Yeah, it was. Well, Kenin played great. That's why I don't understand why she's injured again now, I think. So I don't know how far she's going to go in this tournament. But Coco Gauff, she just played her recently. If she got all the way to the semi-final, I feel she's going to get to the final as well, and she's going to beat Mukova again. I feel that will be yet again easier than the match before. And the more confidence Coco gets, I feel that the deeper she can get in these Grand Slams. And she's been to a Grand Slam final before. We know it was the French Open. I still feel that there's growth that's been made this year. Despite her going out early in Wimbledon, which I think was a freak result, we had a 4th round at the Australian Open, French Open quarter-final, and this one, well, I think she's going to be in the final.
Nice.
Yep, and then for your one, Iga Swiatek. Wow, so what a guess. How did I know you were going to be putting Iga through here?
I'm not even going to talk about it. Semi-final, Swiatek is going to be out. I'll have Iga winning that one. Swiatek, brilliant play until she gets to the end.
Indeed. Right, well, I'm not going to go over that one too much. I don't think Swiatek is going to break the curse. And on your second semi-final, you have Madison Keys Sabalenka, and you're going for Madison Keys, it says here, picked to make the final against Iga Swiatek.
Again, Madison Keys is having a fantastic year. I've really enjoyed watching some of her matches. I think she has the ability to play a bit like Caroline Garcia when she was in her purple patch. She has the ability to do sort of lights out tennis where not many players can stay close to her. She is Ostapenko with a little bit more consistency. And I think she'll revel in the fact that she's playing in the US with all of the fans supporting her and getting behind her. I think we're always, at the moment, going to get finals, which isn't going to be consisting of the big 3 on the women's. That's the way I see it. I think not all 3 of them can be consistent at any one time.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel we're going to get Madison Keys in the final. The big difference from Wimbledon in the fact that we're Ons Jabeur, let's be honest, she is one of the favourites at Wimbledon. She's got really good pedigree in the grass.
Yeah.
And we probably should have seen that coming, that she has the ability to get there. She should have won that final. Vondrousova come through and won it. In this situation, I'm going to have Iga get into the final, Keys in the final, but Keys is not going to be able to do what Vondrousova did because I don't think Iga will crumble like on Jabeur. And on that basis, I think we're going to get a really good competitive 3-set final in which Iga wins.
And there you go. There's the final part of JG's bracket. I'll go just back to mine just for the second. So I got Coco Gauff into the final. And I'm going to have a bit of a storyline playing out here. And the storyline I'm going to have playing out is that doubles partners meet in the final. Jess Pegula versus Coco Gauff. They played each other recently. It was one of the most competitive hard-court matches in recent weeks.
I think it would be nervy in a Grand Slam. That for me has shades of Team Zverev.
But I just got the American crowd surely would enjoy this final. They're two loved players over there. Coco Gauff, I feel, would get probably more support than Pegula, but the fact they'll probably play doubles together as well. So this would be a real tough one. How are you going to deal with it in the dressing room? That type of thing. Who's going to hold their nerve in the big moment? Pegula never even been to a Grand Slam final, never even been past a quarterfinal. If she gets to her first Slam final, this would be Coco Gauff's second as well.
Big ask.
I know. And I feel that we've seen Pegula crumble as much as we've seen Gauff crumble as well. But if Coco Gauff has turned the corner, I feel that she would be able to hold her nerve better with the help from the crowd than Pegula, to be honest. And I feel that, like we've seen Pegula, sometimes she just goes completely off the boil and gets absolutely decimated by certain players. I think Coco Gauff could be our US Open champion and could set the world on fire. Because if that is the case, the headlines are going to be massive.
Yeah, we definitely need it. And just for your reassurance, that's the word I'm looking for. If I was to get that final, I'd also have picked Coco Gauff. I think she would beat Pegula in the final.
Brilliant stuff. Right, we'll go to... I don't know if you're going to have a dark horse, are you? I mean, you...
Well, I'll tell you what, it's pretty dark right now. So the only thing I'm missing is a horse.
That's it. There might be one in there.
Yeah, you never know. One of them could enter soon as well.
That's it. So I'll be telling you, I'm just going to go. Obviously, I've got Kim Win Zheng fairly deep. I'll just have her as my dark horse. If you can't think of one, it's fine.
What about Madison Keys? Is she not allowed?
17th, I think she is. So I don't know if you're allowed her.
Let me think of who I might have going far. You can't see the rest of my bracket, can you?
I can see the quarterfinals, but that's about it.
You can't see beyond.
You've picked too boring, I think. There's no one going a bit deep. They're all pretty high seeds, your quarterfinals, to be honest.
I can give you one, though. It's going to be Leylah Fernandez, dark horse.
Oof, I mean,
she's going to come from nowhere again, maybe.
Her first round match is so tough.
She's my dark horse.
Okay, brilliant stuff. Sticking to how he normally does things, no matter in the light or the dark, Leylah Fernandez will shine for JG.
Exactly right.
Make sure, if you haven't already, hit a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Join us for the final episode of the Countdown. That will be coming out, I think it's tomorrow evening, just hours before the tennis starts. Can't wait for that, and make sure to join us for all the matches as well. It's coming up very soon. Whew.
Yep. I'm going to have a little sleep. Thanks, everyone, for joining. And I don't know if you've got anything else to say, do you, Ben? Or should we wrap it up here?
Nah, I think that's it. Let's wrap this one up and then see you soon.
Like and subscribe. And vamos, Carlitos, on the men's.
On the men's. All right, fair enough.